10 years ago, when I was living around the world and launching companies in the Dominican Republic, Brazil, and Italy, I didn't even identify myself as an entrepreneur or an innovator or use any of those labels. I was just living in the moment, which became so much harder to do later on in my career. I'm actually a recovering perfectionist. How many of those do we have in the room? I had co-founded Brazil's top-rated Portuguese school to finance an orphanage early on in my career. I launched a couple of online businesses that got acquired, but it always felt like something was missing deep inside. I really wanted to have a more direct impact on people, on humans. So I worked for a couple of international organizations, thinking I could have this macro impact, a ton of impact at the macro level, but I actually ended up feeling further away. I felt stuck. I knew I wasn't maximizing my potential and doing what I was meant to be doing. I loved my side hustle more than my job, so I eventually quit my job to start another company. Have you ever felt like your life seemed like it was going perfectly fine, things generally went your way, and then all of a sudden, boom, things hit the fan? So, long story short, my company failed. On top of that, I got laid off from my side hustle. My relationship fell apart. My house burnt down. My stepsister passed away. And then, being Canadian, I was denied entry into the United States at Toronto Pearson Airport. Over the course of 6 months, everything spiraled, and it felt like a huge crash. But deep inside, my gut told me that as hard as that period was for me, it was a blessing in disguise. One of our speakers yesterday, Dr. Rob Cole, mentioned that when our plans are disrupted, that's the birth of something that we never imagined. Given my home was under reconstruction, I figured, there's no better time to travel the world and eat, pray, and love. So I took off to India, Thailand, Bali, and did a lot of soul searching. You know, yoga, massages, meditation, Ayurveda, all that fun stuff. And yeah, all these things made me feel good in the moment, but deep inside, I still felt like a hot mess. I felt like I'd gone on this journey to find answers, but after months of traveling, I ended up with more questions. When is this gonna end? When is that light in the tunnel gonna finally shine again? I thought the answers were outside, and I tried really hard to search for them. But then things caught up with me, and I realized that those answers were within me already. I just had to dig a bit deeper to experience them. A professional meditator told me 2 words that changed my life: stop searching. I realized that when I took a deeper look at myself, what I was passionate about, what I was good at, what I had experience in, and what I like to do in my free time, what people said I was good at, and this is where active listening is really important. And when I did that inner work, I started attracting all these opportunities that felt so much more aligned, where I could have a direct impact on people. When we do this work inside, it's amazing to see how everything around us changes. I started finding my sweet spot. I became a coach. I started teaching entrepreneurship. I met my co-founder, and we started building Innovating and developing tools like this one. And I also got to do some really impactful work. Imagine you wake up one morning and you lose everything you have: your job, your home, your assets, your social capital. There are over 67 million refugees worldwide, and 90% of them are in developing countries. They face water scarcity, food insecurity, nutrition deficiencies, lack of electricity, unemployment. While I was displaced from my own home, I was hired to do research on how to improve refugee livelihoods in the Middle East and Africa using agriculture technologies. Who knew that putting together some PVC pipes, a solar panel, some growing medium, a pump, and very little water and no soil, 90% less water than traditional agriculture, could allow us to grow nutritious produce in the desert. In a nutshell, that's called hydroponics. Our study ended up winning a social innovation award at the World Bank, and pilot projects are currently being executed in Djibouti today. I wasn't an agronomist by any means, but I could empathize with the refugees, and I could relate with the feeling of losing my home and getting really creative with few resources. Empathy is the engine of innovation. It drives the impact. It allowed me to come up with a human-centered solution for the refugees. We initially looked at 3D printing and disruptive technologies and realized that putting things together that already existed in new ways, using low-tech solutions, was actually amazing and worked. So, having self-awareness is key, but it's also really important to have the right support network in place. I like to call it your solidarity squad. Being surrounded by community makes it a lot easier to get yourself up again every time we trip. After all, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And it's not just about your current friends and family, mentors, coaches, fitness instructors, and favorite thought leaders. Who do you want more of in your solidarity squad? Before you leave here today, I want you to take a moment to think. Who here would you like to invite to mentor you? Who are 5 people you really want to follow up with? All the lessons I've learned through my journey are aligned with the work I do today, which is training individuals and organizations to strengthen their self-awareness, their empathy, their resilience, and their intuition, especially within the social impact space. We heard a lot about the importance of emotional intelligence this weekend, especially with the rise of the gig economy and Internet 3.0. Being an economist, a social entrepreneur, and having worked in international development, I never imagined I'd be doing leadership development today, but it turned out to be my sweet spot. Taking an unconventional career path has actually been my biggest gift, especially because I can collaborate with so many different industries and relate to so many different cultures. So, experiencing adversity enabled me to redesign my life, and building self-awareness and emotional agility was key to building a life with purpose. Our most challenging times are actually our greatest opportunities. If you want to download some of the tools that I've designed that help me through my journey, you can text DJAC to 66866. Thank you.